Ladies and gentlemen, please stop the videotape and expand it and look at what you see before you on your screen. This is the most famous piece of Fazi-Gami on the internet. Fazi-Gami is a term that my friend Chris from VTSPQR and myself coined a few weeks ago. Today is January 14th, 2012. Notice the end of the Fazi-Gami looks like a bullock, a calf or an oxen, licking its lips on either side and in the frontal portion of its snout. Notice the nostrils on the snout of the bullock. And then notice what I also say this Fazi-Gami turns into, aka a representation of the six-winged seraphim with eyes before and eyes behind. The six wings, stopping the video and enlarging this, can be seen as the six lines that immediately come out of the eyes behind and or the eyes before. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is Fazi-Gami. This is a science that was created tens of thousands of years ago, along with this pictograph, by a remnant race of beings and or society of beings either from this planet or a remnant race of beings that date back millions of years from this planet, or a race of beings that come from another world altogether, and possibly Saturn. To prove this to you, there is no possible way that all of these pictographs could have been engraved by gravers on the ends and in the portions of the central parts of the $1 bill without generations and generations and generations of do-overs. I say that the $1 bill and everything upon the $1 bill in the webbing, the words in the Bible that I wrote my book based upon, aka Angels on the Ark, were created at least 40,000 years ago and perhaps 1,000,000 years ago. And this representation of what I call the six-winged seraphim is going to appear in the next piece of Fazi-Gami as a six-winged seraphim that is connected to the other six-winged seraphim on the other side of the $1 bill, aka both sides of the reverse, as the God pod and the evil seed of death. And when you bring those two angels together to form a perfect circle or sphere, if you'll notice, the word unum appears immediately next to the eye of Christ. Unum means out of many, one. So when you bring the two angels together, it forms one. However, a more interesting thing is the word theta at the top of the page, which means two individual pollen pods that when brought together form one sac of pollen. Now this word theca, T-H-E-C-A, can be looked up on the internet, and I will put the link at the bottom of the page. But what it means is to bring two individual sacs of pollen, which are in fact representations of seed pods, which I call the God pod and the evil seed of death. And this is all discussed in my book, aka Angels on the Ark. When you bring these two seed pods together, they form one unit. And the word unum, out of many, one, when you bring the two seed pods together, form one unit. And that's why this also turns into a perfect sphere. But what no one has ever seen before is that it turns into a perfect cube, which could very well represent the cube of Saturn, or the cube that represents the cube of Saturn. It turns into an exact cube, an exact sphere, and it brings the two seed pods together out of many, one, aka out of many, one, and it brings 2 sacks of seeds together that I call the seed pods, aka theca, T-H-E-C-A. Ladies and gentlemen, do you really believe that some engraver with a 12th grade education had the ability to put all of these concepts together and then engraved them in less than a period of 2 years? Ladies and gentlemen, I assure you that what you're looking at inverted here is a seed pod that represents the evil seed of death because it has a satanic entity in it. And when I reverse the polarity, it has a seed pod which represents the God. When you bring those 2 seed pods together, it forms a perfect cube. And I postulate the possibility that that perfect cube, because of the words in the Bible, and I am a Bible expert, I postulate that that perfect cube represents the ancient race of beings, or at least one segment of the ancient race of beings that is responsible for all of the Fazi-Gami, or what I call Fazi-Gami, on the $1 bill, including the creatures that look like cephalopods, or squids, or basically just marine creatures. Ladies and gentlemen, all of these creatures, or what I call the 33 gods on the reverse of the $1 bill, that can be seen by creating Fazi-Gami utilizing the folding methodologies that exist within my book, aka Angels on the Ark, by clicking the link under the video itself in the description box, show you how to see all of these things in the privacy of your own home. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Fazi-Gami. And at that point, ladies and gentlemen, please help me sell the rights and theories, and I postulate in my book, television series, movie series, mini series, I don't care. Anybody that helps me find a producer for any of the above, including a book publishing company that would like to do my book professionally, I guarantee you 10% of the gross sale price. 10%. Could be millions. Ladies and gentlemen, God day to you all.